right? So I'm gonna send it in the group, and we can do it here as a group. Uh, I'll send it in the chat, I'm sorry, and we can go over and do everything as a group right now, and jump into that. So if you can, just unmute your phone and let's go through that real quickly. All right. So I'll start off, and then you guys can repeat after me, all right? So, I am a powerful home essentials professional.
I am a powerful home
Powerful
essentials
home essentials
professional.
professional.
I do business morally and ethically.
I do business
Business
morally and ethically.
I am successful, intelligent, and confident.
I am
I am
successful, intelligent,
intelligent
and
and
confident.
confident.
I do not depend on luck or unrealistic possibilities.
I do
Do
not
not
depend
depend
on
on luck or
unrealistic
unrealistic
possibilities.
possibilities.
Yep. I am making a positive impact in the world and in the lives of many others.
I am making a positive impact in the
World
and
and the
in
lives
the
of
lives
others.
of many others.
I radiate with confidence, and people feel that.
I radiate with confidence and
Confidence and
people
people
feel
feel
that.
that.
I am building a home essentials empire.
I am
I am building a home
a home
essentials
essentials
empire.
empire.
Therefore, money comes easily and frequently and in increasing quantities.
Therefore,
Therefore,
money
money
comes
comes
easily
easily
and
and
frequently
frequently
and in
and
increasing
increasing
quantities.
quantity.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, congratulations, everyone. Give yourself a pat on the back. We'll go ahead and get this call started. Once again, I know it's later on in the day, but we're gonna bring some energy to this call. I know there's been calls all throughout the day, but I'm flat out excited. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm flat out excited about what we have, and what we get a chance to talk and help other people with. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the training. And this is going to be very interactive, so hopefully I get some feedback and some cooperation from everyone else on the line. But we're going to talk a little bit about what we actually have our hands on. If you've seen the text that we sent out, once again, we have a home essentials brokerage, and I believe that a lot of people are overlooking it, right? So, as you all know, we have other services and opportunities to what we do. We started off with solar. We evolved into home essentials. Now we have the Zeta. We have the trading, and a lot of people are really taking advantage of all of those other opportunities. But one that really stood out to me, and this is really what caught my eye, about build and how we can, as a whole team and how as a whole organization can really build what we have here, is the fact that in my tenure in the solar industry specifically, I've been dealing with a lot of homeowners, right? You may have heard the term of the roller coaster, right? There's ups, there's downs, there's up seasons, there's down seasons, there's companies that go out and all types of things that take place all throughout the year, right? But now having other options and other services to offer that same homeowner, it literally multiplies our business offering. And I mentioned this on a call last week that we did for the company. And I want you to think about this. For those who know who JC Rangel is, once again, I get excited because I'm not sure if you understand his story, right? He was in a prior company, and doing very well. But his last year there, he did $1.3 million in sales, right? I want to say in commissions, right? Not just sales, right? Not revenue, in commissions, right? 1.3. So what this actually, and he just did it with solar. Now, there was a similar model to what we currently have today, but it wasn't the same, right? Now, I'll talk just a brief bit about this because I was actually a part of that company for a very short period of time. I didn't really do much of anything at all. Only I knew I was a part of that company. Nobody else did, right? But my point is, he did 1.3 million just with solar, right? They didn't have a compensation plan like we do here in Build. right? They didn't have other services like we do here and Bill have. And to my knowledge, I don't think they had as much of a market, right? With all of the states all across the country, the way we do here and Build. So this is huge. If someone like our president, JC Rangel, did 1.3 million in commissions, right? This is roughly 2 years ago with just solar alone, without the compensation plan and the structure that we have here today. I just want you to think about possibilities of what each and every one of us on this line could possibly do today, right? It's huge. Opportunity is literally huge, and I need everyone to really understand that, right? Because I think this just continues to go over everyone's head, and people are taking it very lightly. But the reality is that we didn't just add services to the brokerage model of what we do. These are home essentials. These are services that people actually need, right? We're not selling someone, no disrespect, but the lotions and the potions and the extra stuff, right? These are things that people need. When someone moves into the house, you're always going to hear me say this. What's the first few things that they're looking to take care of, right? Their home security, right? It's a given. Their internet, that's a given, right? Electricity with solar and water filtration, these are all essentials that we can actually bring to the table. So, with starting off this training, I want you guys to understand that there's three ways that you can actually earn income and build a business with the home essentials side of what we do. First and foremost is there's an active income. So for those who have thoughts and ideas and aspirations of becoming a mentor, right? And hear me clearly when I say this. I'm not talking about becoming a mentor in solar. I'm talking about becoming a mentor in any of the services that we have. Now you can if you want to, and that's absolutely fine. But you can, but you don't have to. And I want to preference that, right? That you don't have to. But if you have that experience, you can actually come into Build Network, right, and build Home Essentials and actually create an active income for yourself on day one, right? Meaning you can come in, you can actually sell someone a home security system, a water filtration system, an internet package, and actually earn money in your pocket today, right? So in addition to that, we all know the active way of generating income within our business and our brokerage. But there's also the passive way. And this truthfully is what gets me extremely excited, right? Because this allows just about anyone, all professionals, to come into our business and make a passive income, right? You don't know how exciting it is when I speak to, someone on the team or someone who's looking to potentially join the team, and I let them know, listen, you can actually refer a deal over to me. I can close it for you, do all of the work, and you still get paid 50% of the commission. Now, I want you guys to understand the power of what I just said, because once again, I can see it going over some people's heads, right? It's just completely going over, right? This is the exact same conversation I had today earlier with someone in the solar industry who's literally getting tired, right? They're getting tired of dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. They're getting tired of running around and chasing and knocking on doors and standing in stores and all of the stuff to generate leads. All right. So I spoke to them, I explained to them our process, and I just let them know, listen, you bring the lead in, you let me close it, or you let one of the other specialists close the deal for you, and then we'll be able to split it 50-50. When she heard that and she understood the concept of what I was explaining to her, she was all in, right? Probably begin started in our business very shortly. But my point is that that's the passive income side of what we do. You don't have to be the deal. You don't have to be the show, right? I say this because a lot of people come in, and of course, it looks like it can be a lot more lucrative to close deals on your own and things of that nature. And that's great. You can do it if you have that experience, right? Or you're willing to take the time out. But the passive way, guys, I tell you, there's so much money on the table from the passive side of
Yeah.
building your own. brokerage, right? Yeah, you hear Miss Johnson, she's excited. She understands, right? It's funny and not to focus on it too
Mhm.
much, but I've seen some of her checks. Why? Because it's split 50-50. 50-50. Right? I know why she's so excited, right? This is what we have in our hands. So don't take it for granted, guys. Trust me when I say this. Don't take it for granted. And then also we have the residual income side of our business, right? Now, this is a huge blessing, right? By you building a business, right? And now we're not just going to talk about recruiting for recruiting's sake, right? But then we're going to talk about building a home essentials brokerage, right? It's one thing just to recruit people, and we all know how that goes. You recruit someone, you didn't have any high expectations of them, so they didn't bring any high expectations, and they didn't do anything. Right? That's
Hmm.
that can sometimes be how it usually goes. But I want you thinking like a business owner, and let's just say you were looking to build your brokerage, and your brokerage had all of these services on the top of my page, right? So we have solar, we have water, right? We have security, internet, mobile. Imagine you going out and you speaking or recruiting solar professionals specifically. Let me give you a hint, tip. The people in the solar industry today are looking for opportunities, right? They're looking for opportunities. Why? Do you not think that they're a little shooken up based on everything that's going on in the solar industry? Of course.
Mhm.
It's the reality of the situation. People are shooken up, right? So they're looking for opportunities. Now, let me ask you one simple question. What would be a better offering, right? You working with a solar company that just offers solar, or you working with a home essentials brokerage that offers solar and all of the other services that we have with more to come? Which one do you think would be a better option?
B.
B, exactly. This is what we get a chance to actually do right now as we prospect. So whether you're prospecting online, on Facebook, on Instagram, in person, through your neighborhood, family, friends, it doesn't matter, right? Once again, solar people are looking for opportunities, right? This is something now, that's the solar side. That's great. Now, as a business brokerage owner of my own, right, we have water filtration. So let me ask you, right, if you're building a business, you could continue to refer these deals out to the Kim Beans of the world, which is great. We all know Miss Kim Bean is going to take care of your client. She's going to do the best. She's going to get the job done. So that's always an option. But you, as a business brokerage owner, you can actually recruit someone on your team that sells water filtration. So when you and your organization builds and recruits and grows, all of the people who want water filtration can come directly to and through your organization. Now, which one sounds a little bit better, right? That's a trick question because they're both good, right? It's a win-win situation regardless, right? But my point is, you don't have to be the one to actually focus on learning everything about water filtration, right? I actually seen it in the business. I seen some, solar mentors try to move and shake and try to figure out how to sell water. And, that was what it was, right? I don't know if it wasn't that easy, right? So I have a lot of respect for the Kim Beans of the world and everything she's done to actually build the brand of Rain H2O up to what it is today. But I want you to think, once again, you put your business caps on. And you can actually think about this and see this as your own brokerage, and you can actually recruit someone to be that mentor, water filtration mentor in your own business, right? So we have the solar, we have the water filtration. Well, guess what? We're not done because there's more services that we have. So it's funny because this literally clicked to me not too long ago. I don't know why I didn't prospect this guy earlier. I have a guy on my team. He lives in North Carolina. When I say on my team, he's not part of my team. He's actually a client of mine. I helped him go solar. Guess what he does? He sells ADT. oh my God, why didn't I try to talk to this guy? Right? It doesn't make any sense. He sells ADT already. So guess what I'm now doing? I'm in the process of putting him through the recruiting process. And I'm gonna have a simple conversation with him, right? I'll say his first name, all right? Yeah, I'll say his first name. His name's Charles, right? Hey, Charles. I know you went solo with me, right? How was that experience? I'm sure he's going to say phenomenal, right? Because I know what I do. I know what I bring, right? But I'm now going to ask him, hey, listen, Charles, you sell ADT full time, and that's your full-time job. That's phenomenal, right? Well, how would you like to sell ADT nationwide where clients come to you? And I'm just going to sit and wait and I'm going to see what he says. Right. And I'm going to tell him that this can be part-time. You don't have to, I'm not telling you to quit what you're doing full-time. I'm saying, how could would you be open to adding this on to what you already do on a part-time basis, helping people all around the country where leads are coming to you? Because currently, Charles, right, you told me that you're out all day knocking doors from about 1 to 8 o'clock at night, right? So this is how you generate your business. And there's nothing wrong with that, Charles. Continue to do it. But how about if I told you if there was a way where leads can come to you just because you market yourself in our network, for helping homeowners save on or take advantage of home security? Charles is going to be interested in that conversation. And guess what? I'm not going to be the one to necessarily close the deal. I'm going to get him on the phone with guess who, right? Jennifer Rangel, right? Jennifer Rangel, right? She's the ADT specialist, right? So she's going to actually explain exactly what she does and how she does it. All right. And to see the bigger picture and to really see and understand the business aspect of things, I'm going to get him on the phone, my senior partner, Mr. Sam Bean, right? To see the business side, right? And understand the growth of what can actually happen. Because some people in this situation, and you got to be able to speak people's language where they're coming from. He's making income right now actively. Once again, nothing wrong with that. He goes out, he knocks doors, he speaks to homeowners, he gets leads, right? That's an active way of generating income. And I respect it. But once again, for him to see and understand the bigger picture, that passive income is going to come from potential mentor deals that he gets the chance to do all over the country, right? That residual income that we all dream about, hope about, pray about is going to come from him actually building a business, right? I'm not going to be the one to paint that picture for him. I'm going to actually get him on the line with my upline sponsor, Mr. Samuel Bean, VP of Sales, right? He's very good at that, right? So once again, just putting people through the system. Now, I mentioned the story, and I don't know if you guys actually caught it, but actually there's two, and I'll explain both of them. But I have a good friend who does networking events, and he works for Optimum. So I was out, we was at a networking event, got a chance to see him the other day, and I was hoping and praying that this guy showed up to the networking event, right? Why? Because I had him in mind to prospect him. He does Optima. He does it in Long Island, New York, for those who know, right? So he has a team of about 5 to 8 people on his team, something of that nature, and they go all over the specific area of Long Island and they sell people Optimum internet, right? And the triple play and all of that stuff. So I asked them recently, hey, would you be open to once again selling internet services around the country? And the first thing he told me is that, hey, we don't have Optimum all over the country. And I said, I know. That's not what I'm talking about. All right. And I just asked him again, would you be open to selling internet, you and potentially your team all over the country? He said, listen, absolutely. Right. There's no reason why I would not. And once again, I told him if leads come to him, would you be open to that situation? He said yes. Once again, going to put him through the process. And as far as a three-way, here's the process. I'm going to show him a video, right? So do you guys have that sizzle video that shows professionals how to make an additional income by either referring or closing deals? Right? If you don't have it, I'll put it in the chat, but I'm telling you that video you want to have close by. right? Because when you have a professional who's looking, right, to add an additional source of income, once again, not doing anything different than what they already do, you definitely want to send them that video, right? So I'm just going to put him through the system and the same thing. Right, I'm gonna show him, get him on the phone with Mr. Chris McHenry, who does the internet for Build right now, which is great. And then once he sees that, he has the three-way, he invites him out to a call, get him on the line with my senior business partner, Mr. Samuel Bean, and Mr. Bean is going to close him out, paint the bigger picture for him to see the bigger play of what we have here available. And the last thing, once again, mobile services. I'm just literally walking you guys through the process of how simple this is, right? I know I told you about a week or so ago that I had to get a new phone, having challenges, so on and so forth. So I was in the AT&T store for about an hour and a half, getting the new phone, getting it processed, and I'm speaking to this young lady. Now, I know I look young to some people on the line. I get it, but I had no idea. She asked me to transfer all of the information from my old phone to the new phone. I had absolutely no idea what she was talking about. I didn't know how to do it, right? So it took even longer for us in the store to get that done. But I'm glad that it did because it allowed me to get a chance to speak to her and prospect her. Now, once again, she's in AT&T. She had a good personality. She was 23, 24 years old. She mentioned that she's been in sales. She worked for Aspire. So that is I believe it's an energy company that reduces bills and things of that nature. But she said she worked, she did door to door. She did, cell phones and all types of other stuff. So I simply asked her the same question, right? Her name was Tiana. I asked her, Tiana, you're pretty good at what you do. Would you be open to selling cell phones from home all over the country? And you know what she told me? She said, of course. Why would I not be? Right? And she's like, what do I have to do? Right? And so she thought it was another job and she was asking like how much does it pay, so on and so forth. And I was just letting her know it's not another job. This is a way where you're going to be able to make commission only on your own terms, right? She asked me the hours. I told her she sets her own hours. Once again, all I did, send her the video. She was interested. Guess what? We're getting her on this Thursday's call for Home Essentials. It's literally that simple. Once she sees that, we're going to get on the three-way. She's going to see the information, and then she's going to be able to make a decision, right? Without me being in the way. This is all we do, guys, right? We talk to people, right? And we can add them into the mix, into the bunch of all of the services that we have. So this is just for all of the services that we just mentioned, right? And, got a chance to overhear from I like to overhear some conversations from time to time, and I hear that there's going to be some more home essentials added onto the pot. So this is going to be huge, right? Probably coming sometime next year, which is great. But it's just amazing to be able to once again help a homeowner and really be able to assist them with things that they need. Right. If you've been on the line and you've been in network marketing, direct sales, whatever you want to call it, you've offered a lot of people some stuff, right? And we'll just leave it at that. Some stuff. Whether you thought it was good, whether you drank it, whether you didn't drink it, whether you rubbed the lotion on, you used it, you didn't, it was some stuff, right? And I'm not against that at all, but it's a pleasure to be able to offer people things that they actually need, right? Not just stuff. And be able to make an income from that as well. For those, and I talked about this earlier, for those who on the line who actually have the ambitions to be a home essential specialist, you can, right? Just like solar, all of the qualifications for all of the other services are exactly the same. Now, I love this as well because everything is systematic, right? You sell your first three, split with a mentor. You learn the process, right? You now sell your first five, right? After the first three, your next five by yourself. And now you're able to be in a position of mentorship where you can help people all over the country. Now, This is for any of these services, right? Once again, some of these services, as you may all know, come with some specific expertise, right? So if you do want to be a home essential specialist, just understand that it's going to take some time, right? I always give this example. I've sold internet with Time Warner before in the past. It took me about 4 or 5 months to understand that, and this was my full-time job. All right, it takes some time. I tell the story all of the time in the solar industry, and I think one of the guys who actually taught me solar is on the line today. Right, he's on the line. Hopefully, he can hear me. But my first sale didn't come until maybe month 5 or 6. Right. Sometimes I wonder how did I even keep that job? I guess I had a good smile at the time or something. But month 5 or 6. Once again, this wasn't a part-time thing that I was doing. This was my full-time job, and my first deal didn't come until month 5 or 6, right? So my point to saying that is that it's going to take some time if you want to be a specialist. However, just understand that there are mentors on the call, in the company that will be willing to help you and take care of those deals for you and allow you the time to really learn at your own pace, right? Uh, so that's there. And once again, I'm going to say this and then we'll be able to open it up. But this is the ultimate business brokerage. Why? We have essential home services. I just want to stress that they're essential, right? How many people do you know use electricity in their house, right? How many people do you know their electricity bill is too high? How many people do you know drink water? How many people do you know need some security? Like these are all essentials, right? This is why it's the ultimate. And in addition to that, as we continue to grow, as we continue to expand, the build is going to continue to expand their offerings to homeowners. That is only going to make our opportunity bigger and better. So here's what I would recommend as I close this call. Well, not close it out, open it up, I should say. What we want to do between now and the end of the year is you want to definitely get as many clients for all of these services as you can, right? Because let me give you a point of view, right? Let's say in January, February, March, they come out with a service, another additional home service that all of your current clients can actually benefit from, right? Would that be good? Right. Well, that would be great. Well, that's only going to be great to the people who have clients on the books and a pipeline, right? If there's no pipeline, if there's no homeowners that you've been talking to, if there's no people who you've been trying to get in contact with, trying to book appointments, then there'll be nobody to speak to for those new services, right? So once again, with all of the things that we have going on and built, there's a lot happening, and they're all great. But for your home essentials brokerage business, you definitely want to continue to grow that pipeline and expand it to the best of your ability. Right. So with that being said, I hope everyone got some value from this. And what I want to do, I actually want to open the call up because I'm taking the responsibility to address and move forward with the home essential side of the business. And I'm very curious to what things, skill sets, what topics would you all like to hear and like to discuss? Just so we can always make sure that we bring value to these calls. And we're always addressing a need that needs to be fixed, right? Or a scratch that needs to itch that needs to be scratched, whatever, however you want to put it, right? But I just want to make sure that I'm bringing value, right? Because that's extremely important. So if for those who may have anything in mind of topics, thoughts, discussions that you want to make sure that you go over, you tell me. I'm gonna put in the work, I'm gonna put in the research, and I'm gonna make those happen for us as we continue to move forward. It's not just going to be me. Once again, one thing that I love about this structure and our process is, as you guys all know, I'm a solar mentor, right? So I'm not going to try to talk to you and educate you about water filtration because that's not my thing. And I don't want to pretend like it is. I'd rather get an expert who can come on here and speak that language to you, and be able to give you the better information for you to speak to your clients efficiently and effectively, right? Now, you don't want to go with my, point of view from that because I don't have one, right? So we will get, other people involved in these calls and really make it interactive and fun and engaging. So there's a lot of value being given. So any thoughts or questions or concerns from that at all, that you guys would like to hear in the future? Okay, I'm just reading the chat.
Yeah, James just put a question in the chat. If you could address that first. But I appreciate these calls, you know,
Mhm.
always understanding the value of what we have, because sometimes as we hyper focus on one thing, sometimes it makes us lose sight of uh, the other things that we have value. But we have great value, and I'm super excited about build, and I don't care like where I am in the moment. I see the future of build. I really see the future of build. And what you said about, they possibly adding some more stuff in the future, that even excites me more, because when I engage with a person, when I start with a conversation with a person, I'm looking for the crack in the wall that I can get in. You
Yes.
know, if it's if they're talking about the energy or anything, and then I'm gonna come through the solar crack. If if we're talking about health and wellness, I'm coming through the water crack. If we're
Mhm.
talking about crime in the neighborhood, I'm talking about security check. you know I'm just looking for whatever crack I can come through to get to a person. And so it's really exciting, what we have, and we have something for everyone. And then on top of that, we can gift them. We can, spread the icing on the cake with a venti travel. Then we could, we sweeten the pot with a venti. And so thank you so much for your time and your attention and your emphasis on the importance of what we have, because to me that's just the cat's meow. So thanks.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you adding that value as well. Yeah, you just mentioned Aventi. I was able to use that this weekend, and I use it literally for all of my trips since we've had Aventi, right? So, that's something that we just have in the background now. We don't even, it's like it's always there, and I don't even talk about it as much as I should. But it's another service that we get from our membership, which is ridiculous. Right? So there's just so much value here that we offer with the Bill membership. And once again, I greatly appreciate you, mentioning that. So my goal is once again to make sure that we bring value to these calls, to make sure that, everyone that is on the call leaves with value. And once again, we put people in a position to go out and put themselves in a better position, whether that's from a sales perspective, whether that's from a business growing perspective, right? As the company evolves, right, I want to make sure that I'm evolving with them and I'm not left behind and don't want to leave anybody else behind as well. So we all going in the right direction. So let me be quiet and let me ask, is there any other thoughts, comments, people would like to hear from these trainings moving forward? Yes, Miss Wen.
So I would like to hear a little bit more about the security aspect.
Security.
I'm not certain if we're able to consult with Mrs. Rangel right now because of things that are going on in her life, but if there's anyone else who's handling security on the team, it would be great if we can hear a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yep, I'll definitely take a note of that. Home security, and that's huge, right? Once again, we hear about these things, just a comment from what Miss Wynn said. We all know what ADT is, right? That we all know. It's not, we don't need a class on that. However, there's some specifics that we might need to know, right? When I spoke to Miss Rangel myself, there was a small tidbit that I needed to know to understand as far as the process, right? And what states we were available in. I didn't know. And I also, there was no information for me to find. By just having about a 5, 10 minute conversation with her, she was able to open my eyes up to how we could actually take advantage of ADT, right? Like, once again, it's a household name, and we have that at our disposal to offer any and every homeowner across the country. And it's something that we don't even talk about. That's a $300 to $400 commission just helping a homeowner. And we don't talk about it because, once again, it's not mentioned often. So absolutely, Miss Wen, I'll definitely take a note on that and make sure we get that, and possibly get her on the line as well. She is, she's expanding her family. The Rangel family is expanding. I'll leave it at that. But yes, I definitely think that would be huge value to add to what we're doing as well. And appreciate you making that comment as well. Yes, Miss Meadows.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate this call. And I think all of these services that Bill offers are great services, and I like that we're talking about them. Again, I think emphasis sometimes gets a little shift when we're excited about that shiny new thing, and then we forget that, but yet we have all of this, so I appreciate this kind of circling back to it, because I think this is what got us excited in the first place. Not to say that we're not excited about trading, but not to lose sight of that. I think I'd like to hear more about the internet and about Zeta, quite frankly. Where are we with Zeta, and how do the internet providers that we offer, how do they play with Zeta? I know we had some challenges in the beginning, and we have Xfinity, Comcast, whatever. We had some challenges getting Zeta set up in the beginning, but is there a recommended provider, internet provider, or both of them, or all of them, good, and do they play well with Zeta? So I'm curious about that. Would like to hear more about it, but again, I thank you. I thank you for this call. Yeah, I think it's coming at a good time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're right. I'm spot on with you. I'm right along with you, right? I remember having a conversation with Chris McHenry, because he handles the internet aspect. He's the internet mentor for Bill. Had a great conversation with him, and once again, just getting a better understanding of what we offer, where we offer it, right? One of the first people I was looking to help was my mother, right? She was going through a situation where she wanted to change her internet for whatever reason. And I said, hold on. Instead of me calling, because she wanted me to do everything for her. She wanted me to call the internet company, find out all of the deals and just all types of stuff. I said, instead of doing this, let me just call Chris McHenry. It's a part of our business. I had about a 15-minute conversation with Chris. Chris explained exactly everything that we have to offer, where it is and what location. I gave him my gave him my mother's zip code. He put it in, he told us what was available, and it was literally just like that. Not only will we be able to help her with upgrading to that service, but I and she would be able to make a commission off of that, including Chris. No brainer, right? But once again, this is what happens when we have conversations, when we talk about these things. There will be so many more sales that come through if this was something that was talked about on a more regular basis. So as I mentioned, I'm taking responsibility to be that person, and to push that flag, down the line as well. So once again, appreciate that, Miss Meadows, for asking that question. Zeta and internet, I just jotted that down. So we'll definitely get some more information and some more insight on that as well. Yes, Mr. Meadows.
Yeah, I think I have three questions in the chat there, and I guess I'm just wondering how we on these calls, how we balance out what gets the attention for the call. Will it be all of them for a call? It's probably both and, but it would be nice to know that, say, the third call of the month, we're going to focus on the security and what's going on in that realm, and then on the internet on the second one or something like that. But where the deal is, like, what is the best buy right now? Is it upgrading your system, your solar system with a battery that Tesla is offering, and so those kind of promotions and that type of thing within all that we have, I'm sure is in the pipes somewhere. But yeah, so that's what those were about. Thank you.
That's good. It's funny, and you said promotions, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I had a client that we all know very well, Mr. Thomas Watson. He gave me a call and he said, "Hey, listen, you hooked me up on my solar system for the house. Thank you so much. That's great." But he was like, "Listen, Tesla has a sale on the batteries right now, and I want to take advantage of it right now. Can you help me out? Can you walk me through that process?" Right? Walked him through the process, and he's going to be getting installed with his new Tesla battery by the end of this year. Right. So when you talk about promotions, that was a promotion that Tesla was having that I wasn't aware of. Right. And obviously, as I see, what promotions are, if you guys are familiar with the adder sheets from like, Freedom and whatever else, when I see these differences, I'm looking at them completely different from more of a client proposal perspective and not, hey, I can bring this value back to the team. Because if I know the promotions and the team knows the promotions, and the team can promote for it, and then more deals will come through. Right. So I'm glad that you mentioned that from the promotion standpoint. I'll keep that in mind for sure. I definitely jotted that down. So thank you. And as far as what will be discussed on each call. So I'm, potentially looking to try to set this up on a weekly basis, right? Obviously, I don't want to conflict with anyone else's schedule and things of that nature, but also conflicting with my own schedule, right? I don't want to overcommit to something I can't really commit to. Schedule changes frequently, I could have a day where there's nothing, and then the next day is packed, right? So things kind of change extremely quick. So I want to be conscious of, in addition to also having the time, right? Sometimes these calls, they do take a lot of time to prepare for and make sure that you can bring value and you're not just rambling. So I want to make sure that I have that time to bring. So I will figure that out over the next couple of days or so. But I do know each call is probably going to be specific and specialized to a specific topic, right? I don't think talking about all five services on one call is going to be best, right? We could have a hour
Bless you.
conversation about each service easily, right? Easily. So, I think giving each call the proper time is going to be extremely necessary. Um, you know, so we'll do that. I think that's the best way to go about it. But definitely appreciate you, Mr. Meadows, adding that comment in. And once again, promotions will definitely add that into the mix. Yes, Miss Johnson, Miss Leslie Johnson.
Yes, yes, okay. Thank you, Idris, for everything that you have done and said. And yes, this meeting or this training today is highly valuable. I find it valuable. Now I have a question in regards related to the solar and getting better
Mhm.
understanding of EVT stations. For instance, when I go to this particular gas station, they have EVT charges. And I'll be seeing people, charging their cars, and I want to go over there and just say something, just to break the ice and see how I can present um, our service to the individual. So, what information can you give me on that? Because I'm just intrigued in trying, or doing what we have our hands on. So I'm intrigued now with the EVT charges. So could you address that for me, please?
Okay. Just want to make sure I heard what you said. Did you say EBT charges or the EV charges?
EV, E's and Victor.
EV. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I heard EBT and I'm like, that's something different.
yeah.
But no, the EV charges, yeah. Then that's so just to be clear, that's a perfect place to prospect, right? Because two reasons. The people who have EVs, electric vehicles, if they're charging at a Walmart, then in some cases that might be a little bit frustrating because that might mean that they don't have a solar system at their house. So that's cool, number one, right? So because for instance, my brother has a EV and he has a slate roof. So for that reason, couldn't go solar, blah, blah, blah. This is a long story, but he couldn't go solar. So he charges his car at like the local Walmart or the local Target or whatever it is, right? So that means he has to take time out of his day and follow me now. He has to take an hour or two out of his day to charge his car. Now, recently, he bought a EV charger for his home, right? I helped him out with that, but it's just the EV charger, no solar. So what does that mean? Bill skyrocketed. Right? So anyone with an EV is an ideal person to connect with because they're forward thinking with electricity, right? EVs, electricity, they're probably spending a lot of money at home or they're spending a lot of time at Target. One or the other, right? So this would be a great conversation to have and just ask them, how's your electricity bill looking with the EV? I was thinking about getting one myself, right? How's it been? And then spark up a conversation, right? And give them your card, give them your name, exchange numbers and things of that nature, and just follow up with them later on in the day, right? It's just an easy conversation of, once again, how's the electric vehicle treating you? How long have you had it? Oh, I have a good friend, because Mr. Watson, right? Mr. Watson, right? He talks about it all of the time, right? No matter when I talk to him, I'm surprised he's not on the call now, but no matter when I talk to him, he has to stop me in my tracks to tell me how well his solar system is working and how efficient he charges his car with the solar system. And he's so geeked out about the battery and, ratio battery and, the battery is charging the house and the house is charging the battery. And he's so excited about it, right? So I would use someone like his example, and I would just say, yeah, I have a good friend who's actually using, solar in their charger, their EV charger, and they're charging it at the house. And they actually pay less now than when they did prior to having their solar system. Do you have a solar system, sir? Or ma'am? Right? Boom. Exchange numbers and then, have a conversation about that later on. And I'll also like to say this, we do a lot of three ways in the business, for prospects, right? So when we're trying to, get someone on the phone for the business, it's very easy to do a three-way. Don't be afraid to do a three-way for the services as well, right? If you called me, if you called Miss Bain, if you called not JC, if you called Jennifer Rangel, if you called Chris McHenry, for any of these services and you just wanted to get them on the line to do a quick three-way to potentially generate a client, let me ask you, it's in their interest to take the call and to do the three-way, right? If you do a three-way with me and I can explain to a homeowner how solar would benefit their house, and we now have a consultation with that homeowner, this is a potential deal for both of us, right? Why would I not do the three-way? I'm available for the three-way. I'll make myself available. So I'm saying this to say, use the platform and use the people to work for you, right? You hear Mr. Bean talk about this all of the time, that, he has certain people who work for him with presentations and this and that. Let's use the system to work for us in our favor, right? Don't be afraid of the system, right? The system will make things work so much faster and simpler for you if we use it. Right. So I think that was a little long-winded, Ms. Johnson, but I hope I clarified that and hopefully I added some value to, how to, potentially prospect some of those people out at the parking lot gas station. Well, yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And it's
Appreciate
funny.
that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny when Miss Johnson mentioned the fact of the parking lots that have EV chargers, we can actually help a Target, a Walmart, right? Or any other of these, big brand name companies. We can help install EV chargers on their property through our commercial solar account. So keep that in mind as well. This is also another part of the business that most people don't talk about, right? Commercial solar is not just solar, right? They can also help these establishments with EV chargers, right? They don't only build the canopy for the solar parking lots or shading of the parking lots and things of that nature. They can also add EV chargers as well. If you haven't had a consultation with Dan, the commercial solar guy, he is extremely informed. And like I said, not only will they offer solar, but they have so many other solutions to offer commercial properties. I've spoken to him about 3 or 4 times, mainly with churches, right? That's my niche. And when it comes to the commercial solar side, so I deal with a lot of churches. And he's been absolutely phenomenal. And most importantly, he has a lot of resources that he can give the church to really help them out. We actually have another appointment this week with another church, two, right? One in the Bronx and then one in Mount Vernon. So I'm extremely excited about that. And my point is just remember that these services are available. I have personally forgot some of these myself. Once again, it's not talked about as much. And I want myself and potentially some friends that I have on the line to remind everybody what we actually have our hands on, right? So that's what we'll do together collectively as a group. So, any other thoughts, any other questions, any other topics anyone would like to hear from these trainings moving forward? I'll keep everyone updated with how and when and the frequency and so on and so forth. Just have to think about that a bit. But yeah, we definitely will be doing it. That's for sure.
Well, actually,
But
Idris,
yeah,
you just brought one up, the commercial solar.
commercial, let me jot that down.
The commercial
Absolutely.
side of that. You just brought that
Yeah.
up. Mhm.
Huge.
Absolutely. That'll be a great topic. That'd be one I'll come to I'm gonna come with my notepad and pen to all of them, but I'll definitely be studying for that one for sure. But no,
Yeah.
that's a great one. I just jotted that down as well. So thank you. I appreciate that.
The church has
Any
been on
other
my
thoughts?
list for a minute.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Yeah. I just threw a question in there, Idris, about,
Yep.
we have to keep in mind the whole money club and trading aspect. And I know I'm asking a rhetorical question because I know it fits under the Home Essentials umbrella, but I think we have to maybe remind people and validate it in a way where it's up there on the list above you as well.
Yeah. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying specifically.
Well, trading, the Einstein and the Omni app and all of that, in addition to the money club that we have membership to, in addition to travel, how do we keep that under the Home Essentials umbrella, so that it's part of what we offer as well.
So I'm saying you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm saying the trading and the money club is that's not too much under the home essentials in my point of view. Obviously we have it, but I put it like this: when you speak to a homeowner, right? And I've been learning this more and more recently. You got to speak their language, right? So if you're a home essentials consultant, specialist, whatever it may be. And just think about it. If you go to a homeowner and you start speaking to them about trading and that wasn't their interest, then you might lose them. Right? If you start talking about, the money club, right? Once again, obviously it's a good service that we have, but you might lose them, right? Because that's not necessarily a home essential. So I personally would be just a little careful with that. Obviously we have the trading, we have the, Build Academy that has all of the other resources. But when speaking to specific people for specific reasons, you might just want to tailor it for what their ears are open to listening to, and not, you know, the whole jacket of all of the tools that you have. Because, you may walk in as a business owner, but then they may see you as bruh man, right? If you open up with all of the stuff that you have to offer them, right? And once again, you might lose them. So I'm saying that would be my thought process on that. You may get a different thought process from other people, but that might, that's from my perspective, what I think would make the most sense. Hopefully that answers that
No,
that
it
question.
does. It does. I think it's just worth discussion because it's where our brains are all at and it's all over the place. So I think it's a great reminder of what the home essentials package is about.
Absolutely. And
Well, that-
yeah, I'll actually touch on that in a second. But yes, Miss Johnson.
Yeah, that's a great question, Mr. Meadows. And it made me think about how do I think about that? And so I just like to share how I think about that. So I see the home essentials as services and products that are geared towards homeowners. And when I think about Smart Money Club and travel, Aventi, and trading, in my mind, this is how I categorize it. Those are benefits of membership, right?
Mm,
So to me, they're benefits of membership. So, when I'm doing products and services, well, then I'm marketing to get a person to use whatever the particular product or service is. But then if I transition that conversation to becoming a member, right? Then I say, well, when you become a member, not only do you have access to the home essentials where you could earn money even on yourself and others, your friends and families and others, but you also have these benefits. You get to travel at up to 70% discount, thousands of places all over the world. You get to have access to a trading education program. And initially, when I start, if I'm going that route, then it's just the basic program that I'm trading education program, which is part of build membership. And then Smart Money Club, man, I talk about Smart Money Club a lot. And the reason I
mm,
talk about it a lot is because I've had a consultation with Mr. Carl Grande, and Mr. Carl Grande has, set some stuff up for me. And I chose to, go through that. But the consultation was so enriching, so enlightening. And it was enriching for me. And I'm already a senior citizen, I'm already retired, and I still found benefit. And I found so much benefit in it that I started talking to all my younger people, the people in their 30s and 40s. Because if I knew what he said to me in just a consultation when I was their age, man,
mm, mhm.
there'd be no competition. So yeah, that's how I just categorize it in mind. So I just like to offer that.
Absolutely. And that's huge. That's a big key. And I so appreciate you adding in on that, because I was going to say something similar. Like that, so for instance, home essentials, right? And then the trading, money club, those are all just the other benefits to what we offer from the business side. Now, if I'm speaking to a client, I'm not going to bring all of that up. But if we're talking about from the business side, when someone becomes a part of the business, as they want to do the home essentials, they want to sell cell phones, they want to sell security, whatever. Well, in addition to that, you also get all of this as well, right? And now they get a chance to just see the value of what we offer, right, with our build membership. Right? So that's a huge value there. Appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, that's how I would approach it moving forward. And just remember, there's divisions in our company, right? When I say divisions, there's a Home Essentials division, there's a trading division, right? So sometimes when we are in the beginning and we're seeing all of the divisions take shape, it may seem a little unnatural at first because it's like, oh, well, I came in for this and I came in for that. Well, this is just these divisions taking shape. 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we'll have all of these divisions flourishing, all literally simultaneously at the same time, right? So, that's just what growth looks like in a startup company, which obviously we are. With that being said, hopefully that answered your question. And once again, thank you, Ms. Johnson, for adding as well. And yes, Miss Wynn.
Final question. So our Zeta product is kind of
Mhm.
like a bridge between the home essentials and the finance side of the house, right?
Yes.
Because of the offerings within Zeta, with the
Mhm.
tokenization and things like that, we don't quite understand yet. So
Mhm.
what's the best way for now? For me, one of the best ways for now to market it would be more of a home essential side without mentioning the tokenization because people don't quite get that. I don't know. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, basically, that's what I would do. That's what I was doing. I don't know the tokenization side either, right? It's that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. I know it's good, but I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
start to try to explain it and then sound crazy, right? But yeah, I explain it as a home essential as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can basically be added on to a household to help increase their internet speed in their
Mm-hmm.
house, right? I
Mm-hmm.
give the example of this all of the time. When I got my Zeta, I live in a one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, New York, under the Brooklyn Bridge, right? So my house is not big enough to have both uh, uh, extenders, right? However, the one extender that I have in my house makes all of my appliances, or I should say my electronics, my computer, my phone, makes everything work smooth, right? All of the speeds when I'm on Zooms, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Like everything is working smooth. And I take the other one when I travel to family members and friends, I use it as an example box, right? So if I'm trying to sell it, I guess, to somebody else, then that is my example box. That's the box that goes with me on the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I use my Zeta box. Now, if you ask me anything else about tokens and how many do we have and when we're getting them, I have absolutely no idea. Right? But this is where, as you mentioned, it goes from home essential to the finance side. And this is where we can now add Roberto, who's been doing the presentations over and over and over on a three-way, and have him explain it to not just your client, but also to you as well on the three-way. Because we all know the more three-ways you do, right? Not only do your client learn what's going on, but you learn what's going on as well, right? So this is why I say don't be afraid to do the three ways. Don't be afraid to look into, the Zooms and find these people's numbers and contact them and just ask them, hey, I may have someone open, for the Zeta. Do you mind if I do a three-way with you? Trust me when I say they'll be open to doing it and helping you out. So let's not be afraid of the system and getting people on three ways to, make this happen, right? We all know and we all realize everyone has different specialties in different areas. Please don't call me for a three-way to do Zeta. I'll do it, but you may not want me to, right? But my point is everyone has different specialties, and you want to make sure we connect with those people to have those specific situations addressed and answered. So, these can become clients for you in the future, right? So hopefully, Ms. Wynn, thank you for making that connection as well. Zeta is one of those products that it does fit with home essentials, but it also fits with the finance aspect of what we do. So it's like a dual role situation. And that actually, let me take notes on that because that would actually be a great topic to discuss moving forward. Okay, I do have Zeta down here, but let me write it down again as
You
far as
had set it down with Mrs. Jackie Meadows talking
Mhm,
about Zeta and internet. But
mhm,
when she said that, that also brought up that other, it's like a bridge for those two aspects of
mhm,
our business. Yeah.
absolutely,
And my
absolutely,
Zeta
and
box
I
is
love
working just fine. My internet speeds are so much faster than it was before, especially
absolutely.
after I got rid of Verizon.
Mm.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, Miss Meadows.
Sorry, I was having a time getting off mute there. Yeah, I thank you too for that comment there, Carla, on Zeta. I think you're spot on. I had this is back to Zeta too again, Zeta again. And my question is, I saw, and I had didn't hear much about it, but I was going through just the back office and looking at videos, and I saw something about the Get Zeta Now and changing your website to Get Zeta Now. And I haven't heard much about it, but I went and changed my website to that. So I'm like, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I didn't change my link in my back office under my website links, but I did create my website site with Get Zeta Now. So I don't know if that's something that is encouraged right now. I wasn't sure because it's a totally different look. It feels like there's less information. It's kind of flashy than a regular Zeta website. So just maybe that's a conversation that can come when someone comes on to talk about Zeta, that piece too as well, because I was a little confused and I'm not sure which one I should be using.
Mm. Got it. Yeah, yeah, that would definitely be a great question to ask when we have the Zeta people on. And I'm gonna try to reach out to Roberto. I know he's been doing all of the trainings,
Mhm.
for Zeta, and kind of like the meetings after the briefing or the showcases that we've had. So I think it would be great to come on and once again just shed some light on some of these small questions, right? Because they're small questions, but they have a big impact of just understanding like what should I do, what shouldn't I do, how would be the best way to explain this from a home essential standpoint, how would be the best way to explain this from a financial standpoint? That's simple, right? As soon as I heard tokenization, lost. I was lost, right? So that may not be the simplest way of explaining that, and it might be a much easier way to, verbalize that to once again, a homeowner or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, you guys really have my wheels turning and having me really thinking of how much more valuable these calls could be with some of these very specific people and also doing it from a standpoint. I know we do it kind of like locally now with the team. That's also something I've been thinking about. It's a local call, and it's a team call right now. But I've been really thinking about if this is something that we should open up to the bigger company, right? And obviously, it takes a leader to do it and to push through with it and stay consistent with it as well. So that's something that I'm thinking about. I don't mind doing it, but once again, the consistency of it and, schedule changing and things of that nature. Like as we're speaking, I know there's another call literally taking place right now, and there's just a lot going on Mondays. So I want to be cognizant of that for everybody and make sure that everyone can plug into all of the things that they, want and need to as well. So once again, we'll definitely keep that in mind, but this has really gotten my wheels turning and I look forward to what we have to bring in the future as well. So thank you for that comment as well. And with that being said, any other questions, thoughts, or concerns, or topics that we can definitely bring to the calls moving forward? Anything else at all before we close out? All right, I think we are good. I think we are good to go. So, with that being said, as I mentioned, guys, let us be the light for the rest of the company. and let us be the ones to really bring the home essentials side of the business back to life. It's not dead, right? It's not dead at all, right? And let me do this. I take full responsibility first and foremost for not, posting as much about the solar side of things. And I told my team this that, due to the closeout of the year and the incentives changing and everything like that, I was going to take some time and focus on clients, right? I know you don't always get this opportunity when you have clients running to you saying, "Hey, the incentives are going away. Can you please sign me up for solar?" That doesn't always happen, right? So that's what's been happening over the past few months. And I've told myself and my team, like, I really need to focus my time on clients and making sure that I can help them, service them. But in addition to that, make sure that they get installed before the end of the year, because obviously that's going to make a big difference. So that's really where my focus has been. And I want to just apologize openly to everyone to say, I apologize for not maybe making that clear to everybody or whatever, or not, posting all of the time as we used to and things of that nature. But with that being said, I believe that we can bring more light to the home essential side of the business. And that's not just going to come from me, right? It's going to come from all of us, whether it be, a post and the chats on, whether this call was valuable. I'm looking forward to the next one, a repost of when I posted, and us just sharing it to make sure that the word gets out. Because I personally believe, and I speak to a lot of people, and I know there's a lot of other people who are looking for the information that we're giving right now. But once again, because it wasn't promoted by everyone, everyone's not aware of it. And we can change that. So with that being said, I greatly appreciate everyone jumping on. I appreciate giving me some of your time this evening on a Monday, packed out Monday afternoon with everything else that we have going on. I know Roxy is doing a trading class right now, and then after that, we have the Monday night millionaire mentorship call with Mr. Sam Bean taking place. I'll give you back the night, and you can jump on those as well. I look forward to seeing you guys on the millionaire mentorship call. Once again, thank you, greatly appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a great night.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you, Idris. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Idris.
No problem. Take
Good
care.
night.
Great night.
Thank you.